boost activated. Locked on. Good job. We hit the enemy. The situation is under control. Target hit. Torpedoes! Activated. Nice shot! Target hit! Good job! We hit the enemy! Enemy ship destroyed. Good job! Enemy torpedo spotted! Engine boost activated.
Hey everyone, it's DeathFromAbove, welcome back to the channel. Yes, a new EUDD at tier 10 premium, the Smaland. And it's a real ship that you can actually visit somewhere in Sweden. I've never done so, but I did visit another Smaland. Yeah, this one was a little bit closer to home, but a lot less interesting if you like warships. So yeah, let's compare it with Halland. Couple of differences. You get an emergency engine accelerator, which increases your maximum speed and acceleration by 20%, but only 12 seconds. You do get fuel smoke. That's absolutely amazing. It completely changes the game, but you do lose one repair kit in comparison with Halland. And yes, we're going to see that the rest of the stats are fairly similar, a little bit more hit points for Smaland, better acceleration but worse traverse, but it's really marginal. The guns, that's actually quite an improvement. Reload time goes from 2.1 to 1.9 seconds. You can set a lot more fires with that thing. It's actually somewhere now between Halland and Friesland, so very, very good. And the torpedoes, you don't get those 10 torpedoes, you only get 8, but the spread is much thinner and you can actually put them on target. That's actually a very, very good upgrade. And you can actually still use it for area denial, so you haven't lost a lot, to be honest. And the AA damage is exactly the same, detection is also quite similar, so there you go. So yeah, it plays quite a lot like Halland, but there are a few twists and turns. You do lose a repair kit, that's perfectly fine, because the smoke screen is going to help you get out of tricky situations, so it more than compensates for that. The increased fire chance is excellent, because those DDs are all about damage over time, and that's really, really helping you. You're actually not that far from Friesland now, so it's really, really good. And you only have 8 torpedoes, 5 and 3, but the spread is much thinner, as you will see, and you're able to put them on target. So I would say you can still use it for area denial, which is something I use a lot with my Halland. It's going to be a little bit less effective, but it's still going to work, to be honest. So it's a fairly similar playstyle, but you can be much more aggressive and you are much more dangerous in a DD versus DD engagement. We will see that a bit later. So I had plenty of footage for that thing. I've played 20 battles with it, 80% win rate, 26% MVP and around 55,000 damage in average. The ship is actually quite good. And I've chosen this one because it does show a number of characteristics of the ship and the line, things that you can and actually cannot do with it. And immediately, for example, we noticed an issue with the whole EUDD line. These are damage over time ships. And yes, you can set bots on fire. That Iowa bot is the only bot in the enemy team, is actually chasing us, but we do not, for example, like you would in a Sommers or in a Shimakaze, have the ability to delete it in one pass with your torpedoes. Yeah, if avoids them, then you are left with your guns and you depend on your ability to set fires. So we do escape that HE salvo. And we want to maintain as much distance as we can between him and us, because honestly we do not have any incentive to get closer. Our guns are more than accurate enough to do the business at that range. But since he's already on triple fire and flooding by the CV, I'm not going to gain any damage from it, and essentially the Smolensk will be finishing it. So there you go, the first bot, the only bot was taken out, and it's not going to keep us spotted anymore, and we can take a look at the rest of the enemy team, go back to the cap. And so what do we have? We have an isolated battleship in front of us, a DD to our right. I'm not going to worry too much about that Jutland because it's going to come face to face with the Smolensk and it's probably not going to end up very well for him. Instead I'm going to focus that Minnesota. He's already engaged with the Kurfürst behind us and it's an ideal target for an EUDD. We can set him on fire, pound him with our HE shells. And we're safe from the CV. We can launch our torpedoes because honestly it's not going to be able to move and dodge quite a lot. It's not a fast ship, ideal target for an EUDD. Really nice engagement. That's how you have to set up those things. You really have to look for these engagement, choose your battles. And an isolated battleship is, well, there you go. Flooded, 2 torpedo hits and bye bye. But now it's a completely different situation because that Kaba, it's actually played by someone from my fleet, so he knows what he's doing. I'm certainly not going to engage him in a 1 versus 1. He did put a salvo into me there. I'm going to retreat behind that island, put a couple of shells into him. And I will pretend that I am moving forward and trying to meet him on the other side as long as I remain spotted. And as soon, there you go, I disappear and now it's time to turn around and hopefully he will take the bait and appear on the other side. And what we are going to do is we are going to simply reverse back and focus on the battleships that are rushing towards the crosser curve that is actually rushing towards the CV. So that's the ideal engagement again for a ship like the Smaland. It's a battleship focusing on something else, pretty big target, pretty easy to set on fire, and we can actually start punishing him. And you know, that's actually what I loved about the Halland and why I think the Smaland is even better. It's the playstyle that requires, it requires a bit of map awareness, but it's kind of funny. You're always shooting at some things, turning, twisting, dodging shells. It's like a super mini light cruiser with super long range torpedoes, and you don't need to wait for them to recharge in 2 minutes. But it's also quite... what I really appreciate about these ships is the fact that they have... how would you say it? If you're looking for big damage, take a Sommers. Take a Shimakaze, take a Hayate, that kind of ships, you will be a happy camper. But I'm not sure you're actually going to be helping your team as much as in one of these, because these ships have a toolkit for every situation. If you are meeting cruisers, DDs, battleships, CVs, doesn't make any difference. You always have an option with these things. And especially more with the Smaland, because it does retain the radar of the Halland, so you can deal with cruisers and DDs that thinks that they're actually safe in smoke. You get better fire setting abilities at the cost of, a couple of torpedoes, but it's not that bad to be honest, and they were never torpedo bows to begin with. And you can fight battleships quite easily. You're also much stronger against destroyers. CVs cannot really touch you. There we go, that's the Kaba. We're going to be using our new toys against him. And there he goes, he thinks he's safe in smoke. I'm going to wait a little until he has actually stopped when he thinks he's very safe, and poof, popping up the radar. Now he appears, it's completely standing still, and I'm going to be using my fuel smoke, and it's my turn to go away and disappear and finish him unpunished. You noticed that I had set him, I might not have noticed it, but I just set him on fire a little bit earlier. He's on a damage control kit cooldown, and now it means I can use HE, not AP, set him on fire and finish him. So yeah, you kinda have to remember which ships you have set on fire or flooded previously, which one are on a damage control kit. Cool down and choose your targets accordingly. That's what makes those ships a little bit tricky to play, to be honest. But now there's only one target, so it's a lot easier. It's the midway, and I'm really not worried about him, because with my amount of AA, you retain these stupid amounts of AA that the Halland has, and you even get the same magic button to make planes disappear on top of you. Alright, so time to debrief the Smaland. I absolutely loved it. I'm a bit biased because I also loved Halland, but this is just more of it. And the two fuel smokes are actually incredible. They will let you get away with planes that would have cost you a lot of HP with Halland. So yeah, that's what makes that thing absolutely amazing. And you retain the same funny features, the stupid amount of AA, the long-range torpedoes, and the nice fire setting abilities. And of course the radar to troll other DDs and cruisers who thinks they're safe hiding in smoke. So there you go. It was a really fun ship to play. I really loved it. Is it the best one at tier 10? Probably not. Those torpedoes are not dealing enough damage. You see it here. 40,000 damage with the guns, only 5,000 with torpedoes. Yeah, that's a bit annoying. So yeah, if you want to be dealing damage by Summers by Hyatt, if you want to have fun like you would have at the other Smaland, well, you know what to do. Alright, that was it. Thank you for watching this until the end. That was DFA signing out. Bye bye.